Everyone, digestion is so important. So important. Make sure my shirt's lined up. We just assume our gut works. We eat, and once the food goes in our mouth, we don't think about it anymore. You did your job, right? Not. No. There's more. You have to do a lot more. And what do I mean? So not only do you have to care for the choice of your food and your diet and actually know what kind of foods suit your constitution. I talk about constitutional eating, which means picking the right food for where your health is right now, where your body is in terms of its environment, the weather, the season, and characteristics of your health that may or may not be impacted by the certain food items. Because each food item has its own quality or ability. For example, dairy, which I always give a hard time. But in our climate, which is a cooler climate, you don't want something that's going to increase mucus. And what does milk do? Produces a lot of mucus. So do you think if you have a lot of mucus, you should be having milk or dairy products? Probably not. But that's besides the point. I always have to bring up a little dairy rant. But once you have the food coming in, is it just going where it needs to go automatically? Well, it goes into your stomach. Once it goes down your esophagus and over to teeth and over to gums or whatever the saying is. And it's in your stomach. Now, can you eat while you're on a roller coaster? You're not allowed to. You shouldn't. I don't suggest it. But what about if it's not a real roller coaster? What if it's like a life issue? Like your life is a roller coaster. Does that mean you can never eat? My point is, if you have high stress, the food that's in your stomach is going nowhere fast. And it's working against you. So you're not going to be able to get all those nutrients as efficiently and not going to be able to break down that waste product as effectively when you're stressed out. And so what happens? You're not getting the nutrition and you're not breaking it down effectively. So it's going into the intestines ill formatted, not appropriately broken down, which then what's going to happen? Inflammation, immune disturbance, gut rot, sensitivities, poor nutrition, bloating, irregular bowel habits. It's going to change your terrain. It's a whole cascade of effects and could have been avoided if you didn't eat on the roller coaster. So what are you supposed to do? We have to understand the different elements and parts of the digestive system so that we can cater to it. You have to eat. We know that. There's no getting around not consuming food. Now, there's a lot of debate and a lot of argument about, goodness me, there's no getting around not eating. Is that how I was supposed to say it? There's no getting around it. You have to eat. You must eat. Okay, so that's one first principle thing we have to start with. You got to eat food. Okay. Oh, this is great. You're learning a lot right now. How many meals a day should you have? Now here's when it gets all kinds of mucky and just confusion. I don't like intermittent fasting for 90% of the population. Now, you always have someone, oh, my friend lost 40 pounds. Where's okay, but everybody else who tries it, they don't lose 40 pounds. That's just how it is. What works? Breakfast, as early as you can have it. Lunch, dinner. And if at any point you go longer than 3 hours, 4 hours without a meal, you might need a little snack to hold you over. Miss something small. All right. So 3 meals a day. Let's just start with just to simplify it. You're going to have 3 meals in the day. You should have protein at each meal. I can't say that enough. Too many people are like, well, I had a bagel. Well, I had cream cheese on it. Dairy, but like there's not that much protein. There's a little. How about eggs? Breakfast. That's good. This makes sense, right? Let's not overthink it. And then lunch and dinner, protein and veg. If there's a little carb or starch, a small amount there, fine. One fruit a day, one, maybe two, pushing it. Okay. Sounds good to me. What if you're still stressed out? What if you feel like you don't digest protein well? Take an enzyme. We're breaking down digestion so that people are like, well, what if I have a problem with this? We discussed food, yes, 3 meals a day, digestive enzymes, so that if you are stressed out and you don't produce sufficient stomach acid and enzymes at the time of a meal, at least you've got something to help break down those proteins. Now it's moving from the stomach into the intestines. Now what? This is when people start complaining about being bloated or having SIBO or IBS or gut rot or irregular bowels. And they're like, well, I take a probiotic. Probiotic is okay. It's sometimes really helpful. For the average person, though, it's not the home run. I actually like the effect of a prebiotic more than a probiotic, because a prebiotic has a sustained, consistent effect, and it affects a lot more systems than just the gut biome on its own, which a probiotic slightly is limited to. I'm not saying probiotics don't have massive impact and multiple effects, but I feel like a prebiotic is a little bit underappreciated. So introducing maybe a combination of a pre and a probiotic into your dietary routine, coupled with that digestive enzyme you take before each meal, I think is going to stabilize your gut, support your immune system, reduce inflammation, help with metabolism, help with appetite suppression, improve overall nutritional assimilation. But these sounds like these are pretty amazing things. Simple. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, protein at each meal, digestive enzymes, pre and probiotics. Feel better.